3. Okay, so Moonstone, you're running this on your right?
Yes, that's correct. It's running in what's called an Amiga core, which is just that's representation of what the Amiga hardware is in this chip. It's actually pretty fancy. I was like kicking my speakers for a minute because I didn't realize that there wasn't actually any sound here. And actually, if you're listening to this, put in both ears because the audio is split between the right and left. I didn't notice this because I was playing it through speakers. I was pretty blown away by just the chanting of these monks and what they put into this intro. It's impressive. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Oh, dude, Amiga intros are legendary. This is where games like Shadow of... That's an intro and a half. But yeah, Amiga games, typically, you'd get like a game that came on 3 discs, and 2 discs would just be the intro. And fun stuff like that.
Yeah, I was wondering how much memory was taken up just with this intro.
Yeah, I think it was a 2-disc game, and 1 disc is just the game, and 1 disc is just the intro.
Oh, wow.
If memory serves me right. It's been a while, though, since I've played it off of discs. So, but you're probably playing this in a hard drive installed version.
That's correct.
Judging from what you saw there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember Settlers of Catan was a 2-disc intro, 1-disc game. So.
Holy cow. I love the Monty Python clouds. I was expecting like the godhead to come down.
Yeah, this game was an almost one-man production. I mean, there are credits for a couple other people in there, but it's basically this one guy just made almost the entire game on his own.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, are you
I
going
don't
to
know
go
why.
blue, yellow?
I don't know why, but I felt like the Red Knight was the way to go.
Well, because he's the one in the intro.
That's true. I wanted to...
Yeah.
So this is me not realizing what I'm doing. I guess going back to that main area puts you in like the inventory. I was like, how do I exit this menu? They don't really give you a lot to work on, but again, these games and these times would be, you get like a little printout with like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, there'd be a manual in there explaining it. Now, I'll be honest, I never saw a manual for this because I may or may not have owned a legitimate copy of it back in the day. But wow, you got 2 of the other knights moving in on you. And, okay. Do you want to battle Sir Dwayne or enter the lair?
Yeah, this is me figuring out that I have to go find the keyboard and put down the joystick. Jeez. Oh man, this game's all about atmosphere, and I'm just thinking the Amiga's pulling this off. Oh my goodness, yeah, and also the combat, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, for the time this game was considered extremely gory. I mean, we're still about a year out from Mortal Kombat. And the animation was also considered to be super, super detailed for the time. Granted, this was actually the same month that a lot of magazines were reviewing Another World, or Out of This World.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's Prince of Persia had come out a year or 2 earlier, so it's kind of this weird era of 2D animation that is really changing a lot. And you're getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah, spoiler alert, that's probably going to be the theme. Yeah, it took me a minute to realize that you just kind of got to go at them and cancel their attack. But again, I had no idea what I was doing. There's a block mechanic that I didn't figure out until after the recording. And I was just like, oh my god, what are these big things? These big trolls? I don't even know what to call them. I was starting to get it. And then I got confused.
Trolls with hooves, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, you were just blowing through your lines at a pace that is quite impressive. Are you even going to need 7 minutes at this point? I mean, it's.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, these knights are coming in for a piece. This guy's a pushover. Let's get some. Oh man, yeah. This game was just. The worst part is I do want to go back, even with a royal ass kicking. Like this is. I could see this being a lot of fun. I grew up on like turn-based Heroes of Might and Magic, those types of games. This just reminds me of that with some of the, I guess like a real-time version of that to a degree. I was like, what's this dude throwing daggers at me? He chops my head off.
Yeah, the thing is, you can play this with 4 players simultaneously, with each one controlling a knight, and you've all been appointed by a group of druids to collect these moonstones. And there's a whole extra plot going on, and some additional role-playing elements that you discover as you go along. But the key feature that sold this game was the gore in the combat. Even though, curiously enough, if you look at the box artwork, oh, nice, you're finally getting some hits in.
Right. This was that whole
not enough. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting all excited when I saw that gore on-off switch in the main menu, and that definitely pays off there.
Yeah, the if you look at the actual cover work, it makes it look like the game's a comedy. Like there's this comedic knight who's sort of like, oh, I found something, and there's a dragon looking over his shoulder, and you're like, this is not representative of the game at all.
Yeah, I didn't check out any artwork. I should have done that after I recorded. I was digging this music too. Of course, you go to the tavern and blow all your gold first thing.
And you blew your last 2 gold pieces at the tavern on the dice game.
But I was going back in and trying to listen to all the music. I appreciate the presentation of this. This was a pretty serious, like...
Oh yeah,
it's got a beat to it. I like it.
Well, the entire game just oozes atmosphere in ways that a lot of other games of the time didn't.
Right.
Especially for a European audience where a lot of the big SSI RPGs and stuff really didn't find a market. And this was kind of like, this was RPG light. This was much closer to the RPGs or RPG style games that the European market was used to. I don't think this got distribution in North America. Mindscape couldn't find a distributor for it in North America. It only came out in Europe and in Germany. Oh, nice!
Yeah,
hey, congratulations! Yeah! Oh, yeah. That and now you get to loot the body.
You only get to take one thing, though. That's...
Oh.
And then it goes away. I thought that was kind of lame.
You get to choose, They don't want to make it too easy on you.
That's true.
Beware the fierce bullocks.
I think he attacks me in this turn.
Yeah. Well, because
oh, sorry.
It means that they have the same options you do.
True.
Ooh.
Yeah, that didn't take very long. And this is the end.
Yeah. There's a weird flickering on your sprite. That red flickering, it almost makes you think that there's probably something going on there on a normal CRT that's not being reproduced on this output. But I can't remember what it's like in the original.
Then I spend the last 20 seconds of my 7 minutes playing. There's like 10 seconds just playing around with the practice. I think when I stop here is the end. Yeah, I wonder what that blinking is. I definitely want to read up on this game. I've been discovering all these Amiga games that you've been showing me. They definitely have a lot to them. A lot more than I've ever appreciated. It's funny you mentioned all those SSI titles. I think I had like Shadow Sorcerer or something. It was like an isometric like click around your dudes.
Oh, that wasn't really SSI. That was produced by US Gold, this English company that was known for absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And they had the distribution rights, and they got a sub-license from SSI. I talked to the founder of SSI, and he explained how this worked. That they needed some to the States. And yeah, Shadow Sorcerer was an absolute fucking dog of a game.
Yeah, it was not. It was it's what I had at the time, so I have a little bit of nostalgic appreciation for it. But going back, it is not a great game. But I still got the box and everything too. It's it's a neat piece of history, especially growing up because my parents played D&D since college, and they still meet with that same group. So I grew up being around all that, so it was cool. But
yeah, Shadow Sorcerer, that was that together with US Gold also produced two other games also set in Dragonlance. It was Heroes of the Lands and Dragons of Flame. And those are even worse than Shadow Sorcerer, if you can believe. Yeah. But those one of those got ported to the NES. There's an NES version of one of those other ones. It's imagine the worst possible version of Zelda 2. And then you have a very basic idea of how bad those games are. Okay, but hey, let's get back to the podcast. Okay.
yeah, let's do it.
Stop recording. I'm hitting the stop button. It's not wanting to stop. It wants to keep going.
You were breaking up there at the end for me. I hope I didn't get too choppy on your end.
No, I think it worked.
Yeah, I think once we kill the video,
but it's not